All right, so you've finished everything. You've done your student-led conference slideshow. You've watched the video about Newton's third law of motion. What I want you to do right now is in your journal, just make a list of as many possible examples that you can think of Newton's third law of motion. Think about times when objects collide where there's an action force and a reaction force, okay? Pause the video right now. Go ahead and make that list in your journal. You want at least 10. Okay, so now you are ready for this engineering task. So come up to the front of the room and grab the piece of paper, Newton's Third Law Engineering Task Planning Guide. It should be right at the front. And let's kind of look through it. So your task is to construct a prototype or model of a product that's designed to reduce the reaction force of an impact when two objects collide. So there's a lot of products that are made for this exact purpose. So this should be a consumer product that could be useful in everyday life, and you will create a 90-second commercial or ad on Flipgrid that explains the problem that your product is trying to solve, identifies the action force and reaction force very specifically, describes how this product reduces the impact of that reaction force, shows off your product in a creative way, and communicates your ideas effectively. Let me just give an example that nobody gets to use. A phone case, all right? When you drop your cell phone on the ground, Newton's third law comes into play because your phone hits the ground, it applies a force down on the ground, and the ground applies a force back up on your phone. Especially if it falls face down, that might crack your screen. People hate that, right? Phones are expensive. So, for example, I have this life-proof phone case that is designed specifically to reduce the impact of that reaction force. So I can drop this. I just dropped it, all right? I'm not even worried about it breaking because I feel confident that this product works. So try to think of something. It can be something really practical. It can be something kind of silly, all right? Like, I don't know, like a high five like guard for your hand so it doesn't hurt when you high five people. It can be something silly. It can be something really, really practical. I'll let you decide. You can work on this individually or with a partner. This planning guide must be completed before you start filming your video. Most people, I think, will start filming on Wednesday, all right? So go ahead and fill out your name and your partner's name. If you work with a partner, you are going to get the same grade. So I would recommend, first of all, choosing somebody who's like working at the same pace as you, someone who's done or around the same point as you right now, and also someone you know has good work ethic because you're getting the same grade. So go ahead and describe the problem your product is trying to solve. For example, I would explain here, if I was using the phone situation, how I'm trying to solve the problem of dropping your phone and it shattering. Feel free to include images. Identify the action force and reaction force very specifically. Don't just list both, but explain which one, is the action force that initially causes this, and then what's the reaction force that you're trying to reduce the impact of. Describe how this product will reduce the impact of the reaction force. This is actually worth the most points of your grade. So you might want to go into some detail here. Why did you choose the materials that you did? What is the purpose of that material? Why is that going to reduce the reaction force specifically? Talk about your design here, all right? Why are you designing it this way? You actually might want to kind of, this is going to take a lot of thinking, so you might kind of want to pause it here and spend some more time on this section. And then how will you show off your product in a creative way? Are you going to, act out the situation where the problem occurs? I don't know, be creative in this section. Are you going to say, are you going to come up with a slogan? Are you going to come up with like a catchy ad? Are you going to come up with a jingle? Like, be creative in this section, okay? And then, and the last part, I'm going to give you some choice here. Are you going to create a three-dimensional model, like a prototype, okay? We've got plenty of materials here in class. People brought some things in, so are you going to create that prototype, or are you going to draw a model? If you're creating a prototype, list the materials you're going to use, and if you're drawing a model, explain if you will do this digitally or by hand. Google Drawing can be a really great tool for people, so make that decision there. So go through and fill out your planning guide. Once that is done, you can raise your hand and I would like to look over it and initial it before you get started. Once you're ready, which I think for most people this will be tomorrow, you can find the Flipgrid video. This is 90 seconds. So after all of these videos have been created, you're going to watch all of them for your class, and you're going to vote for the best overall product, the funniest commercial, and the most creative commercial. So I'm going to let you guys decide how you determine those 3 categories, but you might want to shoot for one when you're designing your project. Again, let me know if you have questions, and please raise your hand once you have this filled out so I can initial it for you.